Welcome to season 2 of When It Rains, the podcast where real people share how they've overcome life storms. I'm your host, Martine H.Powell, and this season we'll bring you stories of strength, resilience, and hope, reminding us all that challenges don't define us, they grow us. Because here on When It Rains, it doesn't have to pour. Thanks for tuning in. I want to welcome everybody back to another episode of When It Rains. I am your host, Martine H. Powell, and I have another heavy hitter with me today, joining me virtually at my table. I want to welcome an upcoming actor, Coco Hillary. Thank you so much for being here, Coco.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This is a true honor. I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
We met 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I was celebrating my 50th birthday
yeah.
on a cruise ship, and I had the opportunity and pleasure of meeting you.
So,
And just to give our listeners a little bit of background, you are a graduate of Appalachian State University. You are a mountaineer, but you are actually from Georgia. Is that correct?
I'm actually from South Carolina, which is right by Georgia, but I'm from North Augusta, South Carolina. It's literally right beside each other. Sure is.
Okay, so North Augusta, South Carolina.
Right.
You played football as a wide receiver at Appalachian State University.
Yes.
You are featured in a number of movies. You are in Disney's movie called Safety. You have also been featured in a show that I am currently watching. You are in the second season of Secret in Plain Sight.
Yes.
And you have a new movie that you're featured in, which I can't wait for you to share with others. But you are also wearing a shirt, and it is called Not So Bright. You are playing the character of Denard, so we can talk about that as well.
Absolutely.
So welcome, Coco Hillary, to
Thank you.
my podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here. I am. Yes.
So you play football at Appalachian State
I did.
University,
I did.
and you were a wide receiver.
Yes.
And I'm so curious to hear, because you played football, you graduated with a degree in communication. How did you lead up to this journey of becoming an actor?
Well, it's crazy how things work. Life is life. You really have to, sit back, wait, take day after day, and then just, sit back and see the results of your work. And what happened with me is I've always desired another passion outside of sports. Once you
Yeah,
get to a certain, pinnacle, of your career, there's just no more moving forward, and but that desire still, still reigns really, saying prevalent in your body. It really has a lot of fire. But, I found, my, thespian eyes as a way of, kind of relating to what I used to do as far as an athlete is concerned. And about 10
yeah,
years ago, when I was introduced, to that world, even from a background standpoint, I was intimately and ultimately, intrigued by it. And I felt like that would be one of the things that I could use as far as an outlet for my, competitiveness, as I could say. I felt like that was going to be one of the outlets for me to be able to then, exercise that and be able to move forward in my life to where I could then prepare for something and then have something to look at as far as the result was concerned. So that's been great
right.
for me. Yeah.
Right, and you're right. You mentioned being having a competitive spirit,
Yeah.
and becoming an actor is no easy feat,
No.
because you hear all the stories about, just not getting the breaks that you want.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of support from your family and your circle to say you are graduating, you're leaving college behind, you got this degree, and you want to pursue acting? Did you get a lot of support, or did you get some pushback?
Well, I mean, just to be honest with you, a lot of most of my family, especially my immediate family, because we're really close. I mean, they didn't really know that I was actually pursuing this as a, as a career or something that I took seriously because, we've always had this, mantra of just, work hard and, just move forward in life, with the things that you've already been presented. Well, me being an optimistic person, like I am. like I had to think outside of the box when it comes to this. This is a career, or this is something that you don't have a lot of people that's gonna just gravitate towards it when you say you're gonna do this, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that's gonna be like, man, go ahead, man, you playing, like stop, So you don't have a lot of support when it comes to the beginnings of this, career or moving in this path. It took a
Right.
lot of work. It took a number of years. Now, honestly, it took very recently to where I came into my fruition, to where they honestly see where like this is something serious for me. So it's a path to where, like anything else, a journey you have to take on your own, and then you'll see the fruits of your labor. And then other people will pick off your tree. So this is where now I'm starting to grow that tree, and then hopefully it'll pick off some fruits to where my family can also then lead to where they can understand exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. It's not just for me; it's for them as well. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Were you discouraged when you first started your journey, though? Your very first, when you reflect back on your very first opportunity to be an actor,
Yeah.
in any scene or any commercial, were there moments where you were like, maybe I'm going down the wrong path?
Yes, absolutely. It's always a doubt. It's always a scary feeling. But if you don't feel that way, then that leads you to understand that you're not actually doing or fulfilling your purpose in life. Because if you're not a little bit scared, then you're not actually doing something that's going to be fulfilling, that's going to be of purpose, that's going to be influential to anybody else. So I always had to lean back on the fact that what I'm doing, yes, is scary, but at the same time, this uncomfortableness is where I need to be in order to be where I want to be later on in life. And yes, it is a scary thing to just step out on a limb, to do something that the ordinary people are not doing. To really embark and really like invest yourself into a career like this. I mean, I love it. I mean, I simply love it, like I said, because of the competitiveness, because it brings something out of me that the normal, run of the day, 9 to 5 just don't bring out of me. But yes, it is a scary thing to do. But what I did was lean on the fact that if I'm not afraid of it, then it's not worth me doing. You know what I'm saying? That sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone in order to accomplish stuff that you really want to accomplish. Yeah.
Right. And I had asked you this before we started the conversation. Is that what is a day in a life like for you
Yeah.
with regards to learning your lines? I have watched you and I am watching this series and I thought, oh my God, I could not remember that much information and to be able to do it so seamlessly. What is a day in a life like for you
Yeah.
in terms of remembering your
No,
lines?
no doubt. It's you know what it's a process of embedding yourself into that character. Once you subside, what I'm saying, and invest yourself into that character, then a lot of the times the line comes more naturally. A lot of times when it comes to film, you were able to do it multiple times. So by the time that you're on set, that especially if you're a real thespian, that you kind of get it, and not only get it, but you understand the fruition of what the scene is all about. And that's what I always try to bet myself first in what is the scene all about? Like what are we trying to get out of the scene? The lines will then come after that, but I need to know who I need to be as far as character in this moment right now. So I
Yeah.
really make sure that whatever the director is asking, whatever the producer or whatever case may be, or asking me to be and portray, then I want to invest in myself into being that person first. And then the lines, they will then come after that because I will feel like I'm actually that person. Just taking
Wow.
that shell off, what I'm saying, and becoming another person, it really helps you manifest, what I'm saying, some of those fears and things like that as far as remember lines. It really helps you manifest those things just into the character to where you honestly forget how you felt before you get to set, because by the time you become that guy, by the time you put that wardrobe on and you make sure that, hey man, I want to project what they want to see on camera, the lines
Mhm.
naturally for me, they just come and they just flow, And that's what I love about it. That when I embed myself into a character, that's me becoming another person. And that's the beauty of this profession. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, Coco, are you at a point in your career where you may receive a script
Hmm.
and you say, no, I'm not going to even pursue this. This is not something that I believe in. This is not something that I want to do.
Yeah.
Are there any deal breakers for you, even if you have not had that moment come yet? But do you have in your mind just some perceived script that you might get and you might say, no, I'm not going to do that kind of work?
Well, the thing about, I want to respect the craft. First of all, espionage is a craft. It's a job like anybody else. So when people see people doing stuff that you might think is out of their character, you have to understand that those people are not only doing what they know, but they are professionally trained. You know what I mean? So just to take them out of their regular lives and to put their regular lives on what you see on script is not fair. That's first of all. Now, we all have our thresholds and everything else like that. I have mine as well, but I have no hate on any other communities as well, but I do have my thresholds when it comes to, certain things that I just wasn't brought up. I was always brought up in the church, and I still want to make sure that I portray some of those things, what I'm saying, even on a minuscule scale, just making sure that even, when my son has to go back and watch some of the stuff that I'm doing and work that I got, I want to make sure that it has the integrity for him to uphold, to make sure that he has the ability to be influenced by my work. So when it comes to, certain things of sexuality, yes, there are certain things and thresholds that I might not go into, you know what I mean? But I do honestly want to understand, or not understand, but make other people understand that, like, this is a craft. It's a job like anybody else do. So for people to actually do that, and for people to actually step up out of their boundaries, this is something that's just like you doing your regular 9 to 5. When you get uncomfortable with something that you have to do in order to make sure that your livelihood is sustained, like, these people are just that good to portray certain things that it don't mean that they're who they are. So even if
Correct.
that was a time for me to do that, I would like for people to understand that this is not me. This is the character. This is my job. This is what I do to portray life situations in order for you to feel more comfortable. Yes.
Acting is truly a job. Yeah, well said.
Thank you.
What has been your favorite role thus far
Hmm.
and why?
Well, honestly, this past film that I just got finished doing, like I said, not so bright. I want to really shout out the director Troy Skinner, and a few other guys that produced it, to give me the opportunity to, what I'm saying, to really be not only myself, but to really take over and be, what I'm saying, a prevalent part of the cast and of the production. I came in.
Denard, right? Your
Denard,
character is
Lance
Denard.
Denard. And Denard is a relative guy. He's the neighborhood trap guy. His mom is the kingpin. She kind of run the hood. She kind of run the city. And here come these two, these two white guys. It's a dark comedy. This is a movie, that and the reason that I love it so much, because this is a movie that I grew up loving. Like the movies back in the, early 2000s, and the dark comedies, the things that we grew up laughing at, like, that we don't actually see no more, and we're actually moving back into that realm and giving people an objective to really laugh, to really get into a dark comedy. And when I say dark comedy, I don't mean something that's really dark and, it's just like thrilling. I mean, like, these guys are just, run of the mill guys, regular guys, but they just keep finding themselves in
Kind of like a Friday, an Ice
yeah,
Cube,
yeah,
and a
you
Chris
know what I'm
Tucker.
saying? Like a super
Yeah,
bad Friday, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
American Pie, just what the back in them days where the guys had good intention, but they just find themselves in bad
right,
situations. And I happen to be
right.
one of the guys, in the trap, you know what I'm saying, that the guys run up on, and they just find themselves in a bad situation, and they had to deal with me, you know. So,
Yeah,
so it was good because I was able to relate to that character, being that I've seen it. I grew up in the country, grew up in the hood, whatever the case may be. Never been that, but I was able to do it and portray it because I seen it. So it was so
yeah,
relative to me, and they guys let me really do my thing. And I think it's just going to be a great production. It was shot right here in Augusta, Georgia. I mean, I just think it's one of the things, just like a Friday, that had that low budget feel, but at
yeah.
the end of the day, 20 or 30 years later, it's something that people still talk about. And I just appreciate being a part of Not So Bright. I do. Yeah.
Awesome. So, if you had to, a fun question for you.
Yeah.
If you had to describe your life right now, Coco, in a song soundtrack,
Yeah.
what would that song be and why?
I don't, you know what, man, that for me, um, that song for me right now, where I am in my life as far as peace is concerned, would probably be John Legend, Green Light. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm ready to go right now. And it's an upbeat feeling. I'm like, look, can't nobody mess with what I'm doing. I'm such at
Yeah.
peace, such at purpose with what I know that I should be doing. That right
Yeah.
now I'm ready to go right now. Give me the green light. You know what I mean? Give me
Yeah.
the green light. I'm ready to
Yeah.
go. Because no opportunity that I feel that I can embark on that I won't conquer. And I feel confident. I really feel good. I don't feel abrasive about it. I feel like whatever I receive right now, I'll get something out of it. So I'm ready to go right
Yeah.
now. That's right. Give me the
Yeah.
green light. Give me the green light.
And you know what I love about your energy, and I want to go back. Let's go back to your college years. But you're 37,
Yes, 37.
37 years old.
Yeah.
But going back to your college years, when you were at State, you were a wide receiver. I believe you sustained an injury that was caused by contact. Is that right?
Yeah, it was contact, but at the same time, it was on a Wednesday at a just a practice, right? We're going to the
Uh
week.
huh.
I'm probably like one of the top receivers in our conference or in the country at the time, and I got a prominent future at the moment, But on a Wednesday practice, you're just going through the routine, something like that happened that was catastrophic. It really tarnished and really like turned the trajectory of my career into a whole another spectrum. It really did. Yeah.
Did you continue to play football after that? And if you did, um, like how did it go from that point? Or if you didn't, what advice would you give Coco to an athlete? I'm a sports
Mhm.
mom, and lots of moms who are raising young men
Mhm.
and women who are athletes. When the dream is deferred for a short amount of time
Mhm.
or for an extended amount of time, to know that there is life after that sport. But what advice would you give?
Well, I got this saying: whether it ends then or whether it ends now, you're gonna have to eventually come back to common ground. So
Yeah.
what's gonna happen is I don't care whether it's a 1 year or 5 year or 10 year career. What athletes have to understand, and I had to understand this after seeing myself have an early short career, ended by an injury, but then also then calibrating some of my other guys that were still going. Don't get me wrong, they had other careers, they had great careers, but at a certain point, I'm on the other side of seeing the fact that even those guys had a time in their life to where they had to come back to common ground and they had to figure out life beyond sports. So whether
Yeah.
it's early or whether it's late, you have to find the time to make sure that you relate to what's necessary. You know what I mean? So have a plan. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget what you went to school for. Don't forget that degree. Don't forget those people along the way that you are able to connect the dots with for you to be able to move forward in your life after sports. You know what I mean? Don't burn bridges. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that stuff like that because at this moment you're here. Because at some time in your life when that's over, you're gonna have to reach back to those people and you're gonna have to connect the dots and connect those bridges as well. You know.
Yeah.
So that's the advice that don't burn no bridges and be able to connect the dots and be able to harvest the seeds that you sowed. But if you don't do that, if you don't continue to water that with your personality, if you don't continue to water that with your humbleness, if you don't continue to water that with the observation that you know that this too
Mhm.
will come to an end, then that stuff won't be preserved. So you have to
Yeah.
make sure that you understand with the preservation of your personality and who you are as a person outside of and beyond and after you finish your sports career. No doubt about
You better preach, Coco Hillary. You better preach. You hear
it. Yeah.
me?
No,
That is, I mean, that is so well said. And as you were talking, I thought, gee, like, what would Coco Hillary now tell the young Coco Hillary
yeah.
that you haven't already said already? Is there anything in that you would say now to your younger version of yourself?
Absolutely, absolutely. Don't sell yourself short. You know what I'm saying? Don't sell yourself short. In the time that's so precious, in the window that's so short, you know what I'm saying? Embellish the fact that you will never get that back. You know, what's next or what's past has already been done. In the future, you don't even know. So make sure that the present is something that you just put your all into instead of worry about what's next. That's what I
Yeah.
would tell myself.
And I love that. And I usually wear a bracelet every day that says faith over fear.
Yes, absolutely.
You have to have faith. You have to believe in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to get over the fear factor.
No doubt about
No one who has made it in life
it. Been,
made it because they were afraid.
no, absolutely.
You gotta say, the heck with what people are
Yeah.
thinking. Will I receive their support? Eventually you will. And they'll go, oh my God, I know I thought you were crazy because you want to be an actor or you want to start a podcast or you want to do whatever. But you've got to rise over your fears.
You have to.
And just
You gotta go. You gotta go.
yeah.
You gotta go.
Yeah.
You gotta go. You gotta go. And for a country boy like myself that come from Edgefield, South Carolina, some of those restraints and things like that was just embedded into my DNA. You know, but you know, that's the thing that I can pass down to the next generation because guess what? There's no, you know what I'm saying, worth in fear. Just like you say, you know what I'm saying? It's always good to go see and retreat than to not go see it all. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So when can we anticipate the new movie, Not So Bright?
So look, we can look for Not So Bright sometime next spring. I would definitely be updating. Follow me on Instagram, Coco Hillary, COCO_Hillary on Instagram. On Facebook, you can follow me at Coco Hillary, just COCO Hillary. You'll find me in the yellow shirt. Go ahead, hit me, and I'll keep you updated on all the things that I got going. I always got stage plays. I got another stage play coming up in March on the 1st, called Love Lies. Wow Studio Production. We're running it back. They asked for an encore at the Harbison Theater in Columbia. It was a great show. We did it in September. We're going to run it back in March. So just follow me on all of those social media platforms. I promise you I'll keep you updated. I promise you I'll get you more content and everything else necessary. But thank you for supporting me. I mean, the journey is real. And I just appreciate people like you, first of all, that believe in me and that see something in me that can continuously fuel my fire, fuel my engine to keep moving forward in the future. I appreciate it. I really do.
Well, I appreciate you being here. And again, I want to shout out for those who are tuning in. In addition to all that you said, they have absolutely need to watch Secrets in Plain Sight. You're in season 2.
Mhm.
You are amazing. You play Eli Drummer.
Yes.
And y'all, you will not be disappointed. So tune in. And
Thank
before you leave my podcast, I always ask my guests a question. And the question is, what is one lesson you would share with anyone about overcoming a life storm?
Love it. And I'll get a little bit emotional because it really touched me because you think about the people that's gone, you think about the people that's passed. Life goes on, right? That's
Yeah.
evident. That's prevalent. It's what you do after the lesson from those people that have left and gone from you that you take and you manifest into your life to make you better and your family and everybody else around you better. Don't leave those people or don't leave those situations abrupt. Make sure that you use it. Make sure that you don't abuse it, but you use it as fuel to influence the next generation or somebody that's right beside you. That's all I say.
I love that, Coco. I love that. Thank you so much again for being here. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in
Thank
to
you.
When It Rains.
See you, baby.